Now then, is it ever right to hit your child? A huge debate has been reignited after Coronation Street character Owen Armstrong was shown slapping his girlfriend's 10-year-old adopted daughter, Faye.
Well, like you found it funny when you killed all those harmless little creatures.
It's the debate that polarises parents and one which Coronation Street has addressed head-on.
I'm going to show you just how upset I am.
Ow! Get off!
Somebody needs to teach you a lesson.
Get off! You shouldn't...
Plenty more where that came from, unless you learn to behave yourself!
And speaking to Daybreak, Ian Pulliston-Davis, who plays Owen Armstrong, said it's important controversial topics are featured.
That's the whole point of writing a storyline, is so they can be put out there and debated, and this needs to be talked about continually.
And the debate goes on.
I don't agree with excessive smacking.
I think an occasional tap when they've done something wrong is the punishment they need. When they get older, it just doesn't achieve anything.
Those are the means of disciplining our children. We use the naughty step, we sit them on the naughty step, and that seems to work in our house.
Well, ITV say the episode didn't condone the slap. That's not what it's about. And it says it does have far-reaching ramifications, the whole episode, for Owen's character as the script and the episodes progress. Well, we're joined now by parenting author Liz Fraser and Cloke from the NSPCC. Liz, you've smacked your children in the past. Is it right to do so?
I don't think it's right to smack children, no, I don't. In fact, you know, the palms of my hands are so sweaty watching that clip, and we've watched it a few times this morning. Every time I see it, I get quite distressed watching it. No, it's not right to smack your children. Of course it's not, and I'm certainly not here to condone smacking. I'm glad this storyline has come up, because I think what's interesting also in the clip, if you watch the way that whole scene plays out, he's in a rage, he's very angry, and I mean, he's hitting this girl. That's not a smack. In my definition of that is not a smack. And I think what we've seen in the calls and the emails, that's a hit in my opinion. That's a rage, that's a very angry hit. And I think a lot of parents watching this now also, like I do, sort of dissociate between you're way out of line, you've just run out in front of a bus or something, and I'm going to tap you on the bottom, you're never going to do that again. So my eldest is 14, and I've smacked her, I think, 2 or 3 times in her life. I don't feel good about it. But there really is a difference, and there was a deluge of responses when I put online that I was coming on this programme this morning, and I would literally, I mean, it would be a guess, but I would say about 9 out of 10 of those was saying there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, in a controlled way at the moment, not in a rage, but in a very specific way, and we need to get over ourselves and say it's okay to do it once in a while.
OK.
But I totally see the other view as well, which is what you're about to say.
We've got views from people at home as well we want to bring in. Dan, go on.
Chris, I know that you are anti-smacking 100%, but listen to this. It's a text from Amy. There's a huge difference between smacking and smacking a child and abuse, which I think we've already established with that clip. If used effectively, a smack can discipline a child. I was hit as a child. It never did me any harm. I knew I had done wrong. And I think that is probably the defence for an awful lot of parents out there. They were smacked as children. As a way of disciplining, and it never did them any harm. Maybe did them some good.
But we also know that there are cases where smacking has got out of hand and when it escalates. And those are the cases which can lead to kind of very serious abuse with children, you know, being very seriously injured. And I think Liz is absolutely right. The clip which we saw from Coronation Street, you know, wasn't a slap. It was, you know, very, very violent. And can you imagine what it's like if you're a small child, if you're a 4-year-old and you've got a parent who's hitting you like that?
I don't think anyone's saying that's right, though. This is my point.
Yeah.
And the many texts and emails we're having from people who do smack their children say, do you know what? Smacking has always happened. All we hear nowadays is how youngsters are out of control, teenagers are running riot, and parents no longer feel they have the armoury that they need to discipline their youngsters because people like you will judge them.
When the NSPCC developed guidance on, you know, how to avoid smacking, we tested that out with groups of parents. And to begin with, parents said, you know, we can't do this, you know, because the NSPCC was wanting to encourage what we call kind of positive discipline, if you like. Everybody agrees that we need boundaries, everybody agrees that we need discipline, but you can achieve that without smacking. But when we gave parents permission to try out alternative methods, to begin with, they were a bit sceptical about this. But if they actually had the opportunity, if they were given permission to use those methods, they found it works. We believe that smacking doesn't work, and our real concern is that it can escalate into much more serious forms of harm.
OK.
Two points that I'd like to make to
just
respond to that.
quick,
Yeah,
sorry,
first
Liz,
of all, there is no evidence to say that some irregular, very unusual, occasional smacking does any damage. And also, I think it's far more damaging to children and has been shown to be more damaging to have a sort of constant neglect which goes on in families up and down the country, children sat in front of TVs and computers, no communication, no talking. That's what I would much rather we focused on and really started talking to children much more.
Let's do so, and we will return to this because we know so many people are fascinated by it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thanks at home for getting in touch with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, many of you have done just that.